Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people, Gwe. The other day, someone asked me a question in the comments, way out in left field. I was talking about one thing and they went in this other direction, and I am so grateful that they went in this other direction because it gives me a little bit of space to breathe. They said, and I'm paraphrasing, that they often have conversations with people about a passage that is found in the Gospel of Matthew, the 26th chapter, and the 12th chapter of the Gospel of John, where Jesus says, the poor you will always have with you. You will always have the poor among you. That this is used as a reason for us to not worry about the poor, for us to not focus on the plight of the poor. You're always going to have them. Don't worry about it. Worry about other things. Now, this statement from Jesus that is found in Gospel of John and Matthew, it's part of a story that is told in both Gospels. It's the story of Jesus' anointment when a woman comes in with a jar of perfumed cream, nard, and she anoints Jesus with it. Now this stuff is incredibly expensive. And Judas, it said, protests. This could have been sold. This stuff could have been sold and we could have fed poor people with this. Why wasn't this sold? He's depicted as being quite accusatory. In the Gospel of John, I believe the author actually says the only reason he wanted it sold is because he wanted to steal the proceeds. Nonetheless, Jesus' response is, leave her alone. She's choosing to do something truly beautiful to me, for me. She's choosing to do something really wonderful for me. Don't worry. You're always going to have the poor to take care of. You will always have the opportunities to take care of the poor. You will always have the resources to take care of the poor. This passage isn't about not helping those who are in need. This passage actually is about choosing what is best when we have an opportunity to encounter the living Christ. It's important that no matter how much work is required of us, no matter how much there is to do, no matter how many opportunities have arisen for us to help others, to help the members of our community, to help our neighbors, to help the strangers down the street, when we come in contact with Christ, when we have that moment when we are in the presence of Christ, we should take it. We should experience it. We should honor Christ with whatever gifts we have to offer at that moment. Now, we don't need to go and spend a whole lot of money and give that to Christ. We do have our time, don't we? We have that precious, precious commodity of time, that thing that we, honestly, I think many of us would say we simply do not have enough of. That is a great sacrifice. To say, instead of looking at this from the perspective of a financial commodity or money or some sort of physical gift, to say, in this moment, I am choosing to spend this time with Christ. Yes, there are opportunities for me to help those around me, but in this moment, I am choosing to spend this time, to share this valuable, immensely valuable commodity that I have, my time. I am going to take this and spend it with Christ, honoring Him, sitting at His feet, embracing Him. See, when we take that time, and it is a two-way street, but when we take that time to fully immerse ourselves in the presence of God, in the presence of Christ, we prepare ourselves for what is to come. When we focus and embrace the living Christ, we see the world around us differently. We see the people around us through a different lens. No, this passage isn't about relinquishing our responsibility to help those around us. It's about preparing ourselves to help those around us. In the Gospel of Matthew, like I said, this occurs in the 26th chapter. The chapter after Jesus tells us the immense responsibility that has befallen upon us, and just how important it is for us to choose to help our neighbors. He literally says, if you don't help your neighbors, help the widows, help the orphans, visit the people in prison, be there with the sick, then I won't know you because you haven't done these things for me. So no, when he says you'll always have the poor, he isn't saying don't worry about them. This story is about reminding us that for our sake and for the sake of the work we are called to do, it is incredibly important to spend some of what we have connecting to the divine that seeks us to answer that call. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray you will know that peace often. Because it's in that knowledge and it's in that experience that we find our way forward into our community to answer the call of God to be there for our neighbors as they need us to be. Amen. Numultus.